Hi everybody, welcome to ArtClub. Hope you're well. My name is Korp. I'm going to be doodling with you for about an hour or so. So yeah, if you're interested in joining in, grab some Posca pens. Like hot colours is what we're going for today. So yeah, grab some Posca pens, grab your sketchbook, use whatever you want. You can draw whatever you want, I don't really mind. But yeah, if you want to copy along with me, because that's the nature of my workshops, is that I kind of draw stuff and you just copy along and we do it step by step, so it's nice and easy, and we'll get to a point where we've got like a half decent drawing towards the end of the session. Okay, so yeah, that's how easy it is. Welcome everybody that's joined in so far. We'll get started in about 5 or so minutes, because the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to show you through the sketchbook. Now somebody's won this sketchbook, so we did an art competition on the Artgecko TikTok feed, I think it was, where somebody could win one of my sketchbooks. So it's one of my Artgecko Freestyle Sketchbooks. Really nice sketchbook. So I kind of wanted to just take a little tour through that, because it's going to be sent away in the next couple of days. I'm going to miss it. So I thought we'd capture that, you know, for posterity. Is that the right word? Yeah, we'll go with that right word. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to a little sketchbook tour. Then we're going to draw a character piece, which you're going to just copy with me. Feel free to ask any questions if you've got questions along the way. Go ahead and do that. If I can't answer them, then who's on? Is Natasha on? Hi Natasha. Natasha's on from Artgecko, so she's the expert, so ask her some tough questions about, you know, how the books are made, the you know, sustainability of the books, that kind of stuff, you know, all the important questions. What made them get into doing Posca sketchbooks, when they're going to do a Korp Posca sketchbook that has brown lined paper in it, you know, all the important questions. So yeah, let's get started, shall we? Oh yeah, let me explain what we're going to be drawing though in about 5 or 10 minutes. For some reason I agreed to let Artgecko ask you lot what you wanted to draw, rather than me just coming up with what I wanted to draw, which is always my preferred method. So yeah, it ends up we're kind of drawing a character, or we're drawing something based around the film Hocus Pocus, which, you know, it isn't my go-to of films, but you guys obviously like it, so I thought we'd draw a character from Hocus Pocus. It's the main character, it's the Bette Midler character. I don't even know the name of the character, how bad is that? But I've spent a little bit of time today kind of just trying to develop a little character, nice and easy to draw so everyone can join along. So we're going to draw that. Colour wise, this is what you're going to need, because we're going to do it in Posca pens, okay? So colour wise, this is what you're going to need. For the main bit of skin, I'm going to use apricot. So grab yourself an apricot pen, get that kind of warmed up. For the hair, actually I might use apricot and bright yellow. Bright yellow is quite a nice little shadow colour for apricot. Them two work quite well, so we might use both of those for the skin. Haven't decided yet. That's how on the fly I like to draw. And then we're going to jump up into the hair, and for the hair we're going to use 3 colours, a dark shade, a medium shade and a light shade, and they are ruby red, red and orange. Let's go with orange. Ruby red, red and orange. Now if you haven't got all of these colours, don't panic about it, just grab whatever colours you've got. It doesn't matter if she's got blue hair as we draw this character, it doesn't matter if she's got a green face, just grab whatever you've got, and we'll just we'll have a little bit of fun with it. Yeah, so it'll be nice and easy to draw. Cool. What else are you going to need? Safety pens. I call these safety pens. Essentially you just need black and white. Hang on a sec. Got to get the white pens out. Black and white, I call them safety pens, so if ever anything goes wrong, just use the black and white pens, do a nice big fat black border all the way around your character. It just makes everything look a lot better. So yeah, safety pens, black and white. I'm probably going to use a PC3M, so I'm kind of medium sized pen for my outlining. That's it. That's all the colours you're going to need. Let's quickly go through a little sketchbook tour, shall we? I should probably actually just go and let me just share this around a little bit so people know what we're doing. You know, just talk amongst yourselves for a few seconds. Sorry, I should have someone in the background doing this, shouldn't I? Natasha, you're sharing it around, I hope. I'm just going to quickly share it. So I've shared it on Twitter. Let's share it in a couple more places. I suppose I'll do Facebook. I'm not really a fan of Facebook. Don't tell them. But yeah, let's do Facebook as well. Instagram's more my thing. I know Instagram and Facebook are the same thing, but you know what I mean. There we go. So on a page, where else can we share it? I think that's probably good enough. That'll do for the time being. Right, we're out there, so hopefully a few people will join in as well. Let's do the sketchbook tour, shall we? So this was a game changer for me. So if you saw I did a podcast with the Artgecko Sketch ladies. When was this? A couple of weeks ago we did it, but only got released recently. Other events conspired to delay us. So yeah, we did. I did a podcast where I was kind of saying about how much this Artgecko Sketchbook, the Freestyle Sketchbook, has really changed the way I work. And there it is, the Freestyle Sketchbook. The reason it's changed the way I work is because I use Posca pens quite a lot, and this paper was just perfect. It's the first time I found a sketchbook that could really take Posca pens. So yeah, that's why I use it. So I thought we'd have a very quick whirlwind tour. Let's do it in 4 minutes because I really want to draw this character as quick as possible, and then just muck around towards the end of this session if we can. So here we go. There's all of these are done in Posca pens. Monsters. I love drawing monsters. So especially this eye, I really like the way the eye looked out. The reason I like drawing monsters, you make a mistake, doesn't matter. You've got an extra lump, a wonky ear, 2 ears, whatever you've got, it doesn't really matter. You get away with it. That's why I like drawing monsters. There you go. There's a colour version of the monster. So we're going to do a little bit of this. You see this little kind of stuff here. This like tapered ends for these little shapes. That's cutting in. That's where you kind of take a base layer, your lighter layer, then you put another layer on top, and then you cut out this layer with that base layer again, and you kind of get some really interesting shapes. It's a nice way of getting thin lines with fat pens. I don't bother, buying every single Posca pen. I've just got a bunch of PCM5s, and I just use them. You can get whatever thickness you like with those pens. There goes some kawaii style stuff. We've got Frankenstein. We've got this. I think this was a Jetpacks and Roller Skates piece. So we often kind of use other artists as inspiration for our work. Another Jetpacks piece. Cloud, puking cloud. That's how rainbows are made. Talking of rainbows, this must have been Rainbow Week. Rainbows just kind of bursting out in a skull. Who was this? Minhao SP. Another awesome artist. I believe they do, like massive murals like this. But I kind of wanted to see if we could do it on a smaller scale, and I think it's come out quite nicely. Real nice, easy shapes as well. Pig Week, we did pigs. And then I spent a whole month doing 90s cartoons. I probably should explain, shouldn't I, that I run the Korp Academy, which is like online art lessons, which is where we do all of this kind of stuff. So each one of these pages is a session from one of my online sessions. Yeah, so we did a whole month on 90s cartoons. So we did those. This, what was this? This was from a session I did for a business. So they just wanted the people that worked there just wanted to chill out for a couple of hours. So I just showed them how to draw a drippy ice lolly. That was good fun. Yeah, regular show, all sorts of cartoons, a little bit of Adventure Time. So between me and you, I'm so frustrated. This one didn't get into the finals of the Posca Artist of the Year competition. I missed the deadline by a day. Pretty sure that would have been a contender. I don't know. You never know. Yeah, more cartoons. See, I did loads and loads of cartoons. A bit of Stewie. What was this? Angry Beavers. Do you remember that from the 90s? Angry Beavers. More cartoons. You can see how flat and opaque these colours look as well on the sketchbook. I'm really pleased with how they've all come out. And then it was bugs. I did bugs for a week. And then I did different types of bugs for a week. So like bacteria and glitchy bugs. That kind of stuff. So a few different things. Underwater, a couple of little underwater things. Somebody on Instagram has used this image on their feed. They've got like 90,000 followers, but didn't want to credit me with it. I'm really frustrated with that. But what can you do? John Kelly Green. So we, again, like I said before, we kind of copy some artists. So we learn to draw about, learn about their style and learn to draw like them. So there's a John Kelly Green zombie piece. Spaceman, another kind of, what's that, like space alien? I don't know if it's in Space Week or Future Week. Some more stuff. Weird Old Men. We did a session a week on Weird Old Men. So there's one of them. There's two other Weird Old Men. You can see these are characters. What's this one from? Fairly Odd Parents. Fairly Odd Parents. This one's kind of a very Pink Panther style cartoon. I can't remember the name of the artist that we copied for that one. Here's an original one of my dogs. More of them soon. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for more Korp dogs coming soon. Recently we had punks, so there's a couple of punk pieces. Birthday cake for Carl. Sloppy Kid. We're back on kind of jetpacks and roller skates as the artist of the week last week. So there's a couple of their pieces that we did. And there we go. We're in an empty page on the sketchbook. So are you ready to have a little go? So if you're watching this on catch up, just feel free to pause it every now and then. I'm kind of going to try and go at a decent pace so that you're not going to get left behind with anything. But yeah, just pause it if you need to. Every now and then. Hopefully you'll get around with just playing with it and just kind of playing it live and keeping up with everything. Now I believe pencils are for losers, so we're going to go straight in with a Posca pen. I'm going to use my apricot Posca pen. So this, it might all backfire. We'll give it a go. We're just doing a bit of drawing. It doesn't matter if you make any mistakes. So yeah, apricot Posca pen or whatever colour you're using for your face. The reason I'm using apricot as well is it's quite a light colour, so you'll be able to see my outlines, but I'll be able to cover them over nice and easy as well. Some of you might want to use a pencil for this stage. Totally up to you, but we're just going to chuck in a couple of little basic lines, if I can find them. A couple of basic lines to kind of get us going with this main character from Hocus Pocus. Are you ready then? So the first thing we're going to do is put in a great big heart shape. Now this heart shape, we're going to go a little tiny bit bigger than this heart shape, and that's going to be like the hair, the bouncy line around the hair. So when you do this heart shape, don't go right to the edge, but still try and go fairly big with it. So let's start about there. You can always tell I'm concentrating because I go quiet. If I'm talking, I'm not concentrating. I'm just in the zone. Whereas if I'm quiet, I need to get things right. That heart shape was one to get right at the start. Quite important. Get all those shapes in the right place. Now we're going to put some eyes in. We're going to colour over these eyes so don't get hung up about it. We're going to put some eyes in so that we know the placement of the hair. That's the only reason we're putting the eyes in. So right slap bang in the centre. Like I said, we're going to keep it simple. So we're just going to put two U shapes. Like that for eyes. They're the eyes. So like I say, I'll draw it, you copy it, and we'll move along. The next couple of lines we're going to do is, so once we've got the eyes in, it's going to make it nice and easier for us to put the fringe in. So we're going to use the eyes, and we're going to go kind of from this side. A little jump into the middle there. And then back over, jump over the other side, around the other eye, and curve it out. See how these bits are just kind of the same height as the eye? Let's go for that. Keeps it nice and simple. Same kind of curve as well. Keep it nice and simple. Right, let's go and put, you got that in, let's go and put the chin in. The chin in. So with the chin, we're going to come just on those curves. We're going to kind of join those up with a great big U shape. It's going to come outside the bottom of the heart as well, okay? When you join it up just on these parts, don't go too far to the outsides. Try and start quite close to the inside because we're going to throw in a couple of ears as well. But let's go for this. So about there. See how quiet it went again? I'm concentrating hard. There we go. We've got our chin shape. Don't worry about all these lines going through. They're all going to disappear later on. For me, most of artwork, the first half of your artwork is making a mess. Second half is tidying it up. Okay, so we're still in that like making a mess section. So don't worry if it's starting to look a bit messy. That's all part of the plan. Let's jump into the ears now. We're just going to put two little curves for ears. Let's put one there, one there. Not at all even. Lopsided. I don't care. That'll be fine. Once you've got that in, then we can go and put some teeth in, or some space for the teeth. So most of the skin is going to be like this apricot colour or the bright yellow colour. So we need to leave that little section for the teeth. So right down here, what we'll do is we'll put a little curve right in the middle here, a little curve like that. That's for the top of the mouth. Okay, top of the mouth. So the teeth are going to just come out of that little curve that we've just drawn. Okay, so think of like a bucket shape. Yeah, that'll be all right. That's close enough. That's looking all right. Last little line for us is a little chin. So just down here, just give it a little curve like that, right underneath that mouth, just so that we've got a little chin. It will enable us to put in some more interesting outlines. Like I say, real simple, this character. We're not going to do anything complicated with it. Some of my sessions, I go super complicated. You know, we do loads of cutting in, loads of layers, stuff like that. I really wanted to keep this one really nice and accessible so everyone can do it. We can do it in like a, you know, it's going to take me about 40 minutes. But if you remember all these lines, it'll take you about 20 minutes to do it, tops. Okay, let's go and do what we're doing next. Let's go and put something, let's go and do the hair. I will make my mind up. Let's go and do the hair. We're going to use the ruby red. So if you remember, I said for the hair, I'm going to use 3 different tones. Dark, medium and light tone. They're the 3 different tones I'm going to use. So I'm going to start off with the ruby red, the darker tone. The lighter tone we're probably just going to chuck in a little bit later for some little highlights and bits like that. Let's start with this darker tone though. And what we're going to do is, you remember that heart shape that we drew? We're going to use that heart shape. We're going to bounce the line off that heart shape. Ruby being the darker bit is only going to be on the underneath. Okay, so let's try this. Do I need to zoom in a bit? Yeah, that's all right, isn't it? That's better. You can see it all better now. So what we're going to do is that little bouncy line. So maybe start around about here, halfway down the heart. And we're going to do a bouncy line that just hits that until we get to the cheek. Now, as you're doing these bounces, do some big, some small. Try not to be too regimented with it. Easy as that, look. That's all you're doing. A little bouncy line. And we're using that heart line as the line to bounce off of, okay? Let's do another one of those bouncy lines. You're going to start in the same place, but this time you're going to finish over here somewhere. So you're going to aim towards the eye. You can be a bit more free with this one. So start with another bounce. Just there. And where you end, just make sure you're flicking upwards where you end, just there. That's kind of important. It's not important, it's going to look nicer. That's a better way of putting it. Couple more curves. Couple more curves in there. So let's just go around that bit of hair, the ear and the side of the cheek there. It's just to contain all of that shape. So let's go over that bit of hair there again. Round the ear and then down the cheek like that. Hopefully that made sense. All we're going to do now is going to try and repeat that, mirror it, flip it over for the other side. We could probably, so I always imagine the light is coming in from like this direction. So we could probably just start the shadow a little bit higher on the other side, yeah, because if the light's coming in from here, it's going to hit all this bit and it's not going to hit around here, okay? So we're going to start a little bit higher, I reckon. So again, just use a bouncy line. Some big bits, some small bits. Don't think about it too much, just chuck it in. Don't spend too much time thinking about your art, just throw it in, hope for the best, especially in this kind of making a mess stage, this early stage. It doesn't matter what it looks like too much at this stage. One more line. Let's go for another bouncy line from there. This time we're going to come into where the hair, or towards the eye. Remember, the only thing to remember is that last line needs to be a little curve up. So let's go around there. Yeah, let's go like that. That's not too bad. That works. One more bouncy line. Oh, no, sorry. We're just going to follow this hairline now, aren't we? Hairline, round the ear, down the cheek. Got that? Awesome. Where do we go next? Let's go for the ruby. So the regular red. So grab your next shade. So again, remember those 3 shades that we were going for. We're going to grab the regular red this time, so the mid-tone. This time we're going to go around the top of the head. So let me just move that down a little bit. We're going to go around the top of the head, bouncy line, following that heart line again, all the way across the top. Okay, again, don't think about it too much, just randomize those bouncy bits. So you're gonna have some big ones, some little ones. There we go, nice and easy. Yeah, let's leave that like that. That's all we needed, just a little bouncy line across the top. Okay, let's go and work in the face now. So if you remember, I had those two colours for the face, apricot and I think it was bright yellow, a light shade and a dark shade. We're just going to put a little dark shade on first. I like putting the shadows on first because then you can cut out the shadows and make them really sharp with the lighter colour afterwards. So this is where we're going to put these shades. We're going to just draw a little line going down the side of the face. We're not going to, I don't think we're going to make it too complicated. We're going to put it around the eyes. No. Let's just bring a line down the side, a little tiny slither of a shadow down the side here. So watch this. We're going to start up here, look, and then you're going to bring it in. And then when you get to the bottom, just join it into the chin again. So you see, we're just taking that little slice out. Let me just show you where that slice lives. So just across here, look. That's that little shadow line. If you got that, let's put a little shadow under the chin as well. So down here, let's just make it into a little kind of moon shape down there for the chin. And I think that's it for the time being. We're not going to mess around with that too much. Let's leave it like that. Okay. That's kind of all our guidelines. That's split out light and shade and stuff like that. So now we're just going to throw in some colour. So grab those colours that you've been using. We're going to throw in loads of colour and we'll tidy it all up later. So let's start off with this. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to start off on this side, work my way across. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this dark bit, this ruby red bit. Let's go and chuck some colour on there. So just nice and quickly, and you can see how the apricot line, that pencil line that we originally did, that heart shape, is now just going to disappear. We're not going to see that anymore. So this is what I always say about your artwork. Just make a mess first, tidy it up later, go straight in with pens. Don't bother with pencils. The problem with pencils is that if you get a line wrong, you can just rub it out and start again. And I think that kind of that holds you back. If you do it with a pen, you've got to get it right first time. Your brain starts getting used to the fact that you're trying to get it right first time. So it does become easier in the long run. That's what I think anyway. Right, let's go. In fact, I'm going to leave that to dry. Let's go and move over to the other side. I know I just said I'm right-handed and I'll do it left to right, but what the hell? Let's mix it up a little bit. You might notice as well that I've got a little smudge. See, like already a little smudge in there. Don't let little smudges bother you. If you make any mistakes, don't ever stop. Carry on. 9 times out of 10, the mistakes I make end up being some of the better pieces that I've drawn, because your imagination starts going a bit crazy on how to try and fix that. You start exercising bits of your brain that you wouldn't normally exercise if you're just drawing. So yeah, anytime you make a mistake, keep it in there. Try and figure out how you're going to fix it later. And like I say, usually you'll come up with some ingenious way of doing it. One of my go-tos is like drawing little flies. Little flies kind of flying around the artwork. So usually if you see any flies on my artwork, it's usually because I've made a mistake somewhere, smudged something somewhere. So rather than just trying to rub it out or whatever, I'll just draw a big old fly and some wings and some legs sitting over the top of it. So we might just draw that and have it kind of flying out from behind her. Or even a star, or the positioning of it. It could probably have an earring. Loads of stuff that you could do with that. But yeah, never quit just because you've made a little mistake. Okay, let's leave that side to dry. We can go back to this side again now. Let's go back in with our red. What we're going to do is we're going to see some of these end edges, look, quite fat, quite round, because we've used a 5M. So as we go in with the 5M red, we can start cutting those out, making some much more interesting shapes. So Watch this, look, as we just go in there, we're just cutting the edges out. You see how those sharp edges are now coming out. It's all about getting just, you know, sharp edges, thin lines with fat pens. Let's go and colour in all of that. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we're doing great for time. So the other thing is, if you are having a go at this character, you're drawing this character and you want to post it online, please tag us. Tag Artgecko, but also tag me as well, tag Studio Korp. Just so that we can have a look, see what you've come up with, see what your version looks like, whether you've gone for different colours, whether you're adding your own style to it. You know, as much as my art workshops are very much, I'll show you what to draw and you draw it. I love it when people come up with their own ideas within the artwork as well. There we go, we're halfway across now. See how it's starting to take shape? Look how nice that bit looks. Really like the way that's coming out. The shadows really kind of popping out on that. Okay. What's next? Let's move across to the other side. So we're just going to start cutting out all of these bits as well. So let's go across here. Just overlapping all the time. Your Posca pens will just be overlapping slightly to enable you to do those little bits of cutting out. Now always have yourself a little bit of scrap cardboard to prime your pen on. Never use your canvas. I've done that too many times where I've used my canvas or used my sketchbook and the Posca pen has just leaked everywhere, especially when it was summer. You know, in the warm weather they do get a little bit throwy uppy. So I hope you're getting on all right so far. Do me a favour, even if whether you're watching on live or watching on a repeat, just give us a little share. Share it around, you know, add your artwork and share the video so that other people can see it. Tag people that you think you would know would enjoy sitting and drawing something like this. Any fans of Hocus Pocus that want to give me a hard time for not knowing the character's name, you know, tag them. Give you a few seconds just to catch up. Right, everybody got that in? Let's carry on, shall we? We're still in that making a mess stage, so let's carry on with the colouring in. We're going to go and do this side, the shadow, first. I know it's a bit kind of, you know, it's the wrong way around. I'm doing the shadow and then I'm going to do the highlight, and it's there's a chance of smudging. But oh, that's the wrong colour. Make sure you get the right colour. And again, if you do something like that, you see how I just made that mistake, right? I put the orange in there rather than the bright yellow. If you do something like that with Posca, the best thing about them is that all you have to do is just give it a bit of time. Let it dry. As soon as it's dry, then you can fix it. That's the only rule. Don't try and fix it straight away. If you try and fix it straight away, what's going to happen is it's going to be wet and you're just going to end up making more of a mess. But if you can live with it kind of sitting there, because I know what mistakes are like. You know, you make a mistake in your artwork and it looks at you and it's kind of prodding you and it's telling you that you've made a mistake all the time. If you can live with that just for a few minutes, it's safe in the knowledge that as soon as it's dry, you can just whip over it and nobody will ever know you made that mistake. Then, you know, get used to that. That's a good habit to get in. There you go. There's our shadow line in. I'm going to give that a few seconds to dry. Again as well, let's bring it in so you can see the whole thing. There we go. That's what we're looking like so far. See how some of those ugly lines are starting to disappear. Last section. Now with this last section for colouring in, okay. With this last section for colouring in, we're going to lose the eyes because we're going to colour in the apricot all across the face. The only bit that's going to be left behind is the teeth because they've got to stay white. but we're going to lose the eyes. I was tempted with doing a different eye. I'm going to keep the eyes simple, just a nice little U shape. If we get time towards the end, I might try a different eye out. Again, that's the good thing with Posca pens. You know, if the first eye that you do doesn't work out right, then just do something different. I love the fact that you can do that. I don't know whether to do. No, I'm going to stick with the plan. Stick with the plan, Korp. Don't mix it up. Okay, apricot. All that's dry now, so as soon as that's dry, apricot on everything apart from the teeth, yeah? Eyes are going to disappear, so commit those to memory of where they live, or just leave little tiny bits of white popping through so that you know where they're going to live. But let's just go and throw on this apricot. See if we can get this on in, what, 2 minutes? Thank you, Natasha. Natasha says it's looking good. We're getting there, mate. Like I say, I've done... Whoops. Don't ever prime your pen on your sketchbook like I've just done there. It's dangerous. Playing with fire. I've done over 500 workshops, online workshops, as part of the Korp Academy. So I'm kind of getting used to this from a timing point of view. How long it takes to do stuff. So yeah, we're making pretty good time at the moment. What's buzzing? Something's buzzing. Can you hear that? Okay, as we get over to the other side of the face, we're going to start cutting out those shadows again. So you see like the ends of the shadows looking a little bit ropey, a little bit fat. We can use this 5M just to chop it out. There we go, and we get this nice sharp finish, sharp edge to the shadow. You see the bottom of that heart as well, the bottom of that heart shape, that pencil line kind of thing that we did right at the start of the session. That's all gone now. You'd never know there was a heart shape in. And this is what I love doing with my artwork is, well, with the artwork that I like to teach anyway. I like breaking it down into like real basic shapes. That's why I don't draw everything. I can only draw. The only stuff that I like to draw, that I like to show other people to draw, is stuff that I know I can break down into basic shapes. So like for example, this one was a heart shape and a few U shapes, wasn't it? Sometimes I do drawings just based on the letter D. The whole character can be the letter D, so the eyes are D's upside down. The mouth is a D, one way around or the other. You know, even the head can be a D. Even strands of hair or clumps of hair can be capital D's. I should probably point that out. Yeah, capital D's, not lowercase d's. That would be silly. There we go. Look at that. It's looking all right, yeah? Whenever you're drawing as well, feel free to kind of tweak things along the way. You know, if something's not looking right, let it dry and change it up a little bit. You know, I'm looking at mine and thinking maybe I need a bit of a stronger shadow underneath. I don't know. I'll decide right at the end, because you should always judge your artwork when you get at the end, you know. Halfway through, don't judge your artwork halfway through, because it might look rubbish and then you might never finish it. So never judge your artwork halfway through. Always judge it at the end. At the end, it's allowed to look rubbish. It might still look rubbish at the end, but at least you've given it a chance. You've given it a shot. But what you'll normally find is that most artwork looks a bit naff halfway through, and towards the end, that's when it starts to come together. So always allow yourself to get to that point where it's looking okay. Shall we? Let's put in. My technique is throw in all the colour and then throw on the black outlines. So we're going to go back into the colour, do a little bit more colour before we go into the black outlines. Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. And it's lips. Where's my lips? There they are. So with these lips, we're just going to put in a couple of extra lines. So this character's got some nice lips. So we're going to just put in the top lip and then a little bottom lip kind of poking out the bottom as well. So you know with the top of the teeth here that we've got a bit of a curve. Remember we did that bit of a curve? So I'd like you just try and go over that line with a little bit of a curve like that. And then on top of that, we're going to do a letter M. Nice big letter M. and colour that in. Obviously you want to make sure this is all dry. That's quite nice. That looks alright. You see how that's looking like lips, yeah? I think it's looking like lips. Underneath the teeth, we're going to do the letter U. See, it's all letters. It's all letters and simple shapes. The letter U, but rather than starting right at the bottom of the teeth, let's just start slightly on the side of the teeth and then bring the letter U down the side. So we'll still see a little tiny bit of the bottom bucket shape in. So like this. What do you reckon? I think I'd get away with that. That'll do. Do we want to put a little shadow in the nose? Let's put a little shadow in the nose. Let's not muck around. So for the nose, we're going to put in 3 circles, 3 half circles, just the bottom half of 3 circles. One big, 2 small either side. One big for the nose tip, 2 small for the nostrils. So let's go around about here. Round about here, round about the centre of the head. Always a good place to put a nose. So there's the half circle for the nose. And then off the side, look, half circle there. Half circle there for the nostrils. How's that look? Does that look alright? I think that looks alright. Now, with that bit, don't forget you can go quite thick, quite big with that, because we are going to take this apricot colour and we're going to cut that out, make that a little bit smaller, a little bit more delicate. Definitely going to chop off some of the ends so that instead of these fat 5mm ends, we're going to get some nice, tight, sharp ends to it. What else are we going to need? Shadow. I think I'm going to leave it like that for the time being. We might add some more shadows in later. We'll make a call. We'll see. We'll see how it's looking later. Around the eyes, we're not going to put any shadows around the eyes. We're just going to put a little black line in there. Okay, so I'm mainly talking, so I've got a little bit of time to kill before I take the edges out of these shadows. So I think it's just about dry. Don't rush it if you're watching on replay. Just pause this for a few seconds until that bit dries, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to go over those lines with the original colour, this apricot colour, and we're going to use this cutting in technique again, where we're just going to take out a little bit of the shape like that. See how it becomes a lot more subtle than maybe on the outside here. Look, we can take out a little bit there. Just sharpens everything up a little bit, or sharpens those edges up a little bit. There we go. Lovely. Probably should explain. I'm doing the eyes closed. The reason I'm doing the eyes closed is so much simpler to draw. But if you want to draw your eyes open, feel free to mix things up a little bit. Okay, I think we are about ready. Are we about ready? No, let's do a little bit of cutting in on the hair. Let me just see. Let me just find my original image so I can just double check what the cutting in on the hair is going to look like. Yeah, cutting in on the hair. We're going to add... Should we do it now or should we do it later? Let's do it later. So, yeah, 3 stages to my artwork. One is colouring in, one is outlining, one is like the finishing touches, I guess. So we're now going to go into that outlining stage. We'll do the extra cutting in around the hair, adding the extra strands to the hair later. We'll have time. Yeah, we've got 20 minutes, so we'll have time. Let's just go and quickly put some outlines on this artwork, shall we? So like I said before, I'm going to use a PC3M, so a slightly thinner pen than what we've been using here. It does allow me to get the line thickness just right. So grab yourself a PC3M. Let's go and throw in a couple of little lines to get ourselves started. Let's work around the hair first, shall we? Now we're going to overlap a little bit over on this ear, all the way across the top of the head. Back away this side, and when you get to this ear, just overlap a little bit. So it's going to start and finish inside the hair. So about there, look. All the way around. to there, all the way around the next bit. Make sure you go around the hair and a little flick off into the ear. Now, one lesson I teach quite a lot is to double line everything you do. Now, double lining isn't about making it twice as thick, it's about making it twice as wonky. So we're going to go over that line again. We're going to double line it. We're going to make it nice and wonky, because if the lines are wonky everywhere, it's going to look like we did it on purpose. It's going to be easier to draw and it's going to look a lot better. Also, it helps us kind of hide any mistakes we've made. So you see when I did the outlining, I still got a little tiny bit of red showing through just there on the skin side. You could get some apricot and you could cut that out, but I like to just go in with the black, put a nice wonky line in. Like that. There we go. So we've got some fat bits in those lines and we've got some thin bits. That's the intention. You see how that, I think that looks a lot better. You know, it's a personal taste thing, but I think it looks a lot better. The edges here, we'll cut them out a little bit later with the ruby. So don't worry if those edges are looking a little bit fat. You want to try and flick off the pen if you can, so that you get nice thin edges. But if you don't get them, don't worry about it. Let's give that a few seconds to dry. Let's just go around the rest of the hair now. So my suggestion is, as we go around the hair, we're going to start up about here. Going to start here with a double-ended flick off line that's going to kind of flick into the hair on both sides of this bounce, and then each strand of hair we do after that is going to have a little extra flick to it. I'll draw it. It'll be easier. It's a lot easier if I draw it rather than try and explain it. Let's go for like starting there, look, and finishing there. So you see how it starts and finishes inside the hair. That's the important bit. Double line it, make it wonky. If you struggle with flicking off is where you flick the pen and get a nice thin tapered end. If you struggle with that, you've got two things you can do. One is you can taper it off with the original colour that's underneath. The other thing you can do is just put little dots and dashes like that, and it just gives the impression that it's a crease without it being a strong finished line. Okay, so then what we're going to do is going to work from that. We're going to flick out into the hair each time. So this is not going to be a double-ended flick off, it's just going to be a single-ended like that. Each time, just making it wonky, flicking it off. Till we're into the hair like that. Or into the cheek, I should say. Let's work our way across until we get to the centre now. So same technique, this time we're going to go flicking off the other side. This is just one of my favourite techniques of just flicking the pen, creating these little overlaps all over the place. Just makes our artwork look a lot more interesting. Let's carry on doing the other side. So remember we started about this point. So starting from there, that's a double-ended flick off. So both ends of that curl of hair are going to be flicked into the hair. Then work up across the top, then work down the bottom. Let's go for it. So if you might find it a lot easier just to move your sketchbook around so that you can get all these lines in. Try and use the natural curve that you're creating with your fingers or with your wrist, rather than trying to do like what I'm doing, which is just keeping the sketchbook steady. That is purely so it's easier for you to look at it. There you go, let's just join that in just there, little finish there. Let's go around this side, so again just flicking in. Sometimes you're going to flick in loads, sometimes just a little bit. But double line it all, make it all wonky as you're going along. Lovely. Let's carry on around the head. I want to kind of get the head finished, then we can just chuck in the eyes, nose and lips, yeah? So what we'll do now is we'll start with the chin. We're going to have a little double-ended flick off in the chin. As we come up the side of the face, I'm going to flick off into the ear a little bit. So just make sure it's all dry before you start doing any lines or putting your hand across it. There we go, a little flick off into the ear. Don't forget double line it, make it wonky. Strong intersections as well, where two lines join each other like that. That's an intersection. This little bit here, that's an intersection. So just there, look, that little line there, as it joins into the chin, that's an intersection. Make that a little bit thicker. Usually that's where the shadows are, because that's where the creases are. So always kind of works out. There you go, we've got two intersections there. One at the top there, one at the side there. Always just making them just a little bit thicker. Let's do the other side. So little flick off into the ear there. Strong intersection down there. Double intersection there. Sometimes called a double-ended thick off rather than a double-ended flick off. It's the opposite. Right, lovely stuff. Let's go and put those eyes in. So this is the tricky bit. We want to make those eyes as symmetrical as possible. Usually, I'd always say, if you can't do eyes symmetrical, just do one big, one small. Keeps it nice and easy for yourself. But we're going to try and put two great big U shapes in. But leave a little bit of space on the outside of those U shapes, because we're going to put some, what is it called? Is it called eyeliner? We're going to put some wings on the eyes. Let's go and put those in then. So let's do one about here. I'm going to use the nose as my reference point, not really the hair too much. Maybe the centre part of that hair. But try and use the nose so that you know roughly where the eyes are going to go. So let's put one there. One there. Yeah, that'll do. It's close enough. Let's double line it. Make it wonky in the middle. Technically double-ended flick-off lines these are. And we'll come back to that with a thinner pen to add some eyeliner to it. In the meantime, let's just quickly do a couple of little lines around the nose. Oh no, let's keep it straight. Keep it straight. I can do this. A couple of little lines around the nose. We're going to go for just here, look. How's that looking for a nose? That'll do. That'll do. We're going to put some little creases coming out of those noses later, but we don't know where they're aiming yet. The creases that come out of the nose are going to aim towards the end of the corner of the mouth. So we need to put the mouth in next. So you ready for this mouth? So we're going to put in quite a wavy line that's going to hit the top of the teeth, bottom of the top lip. That bit just there. We're going to put a wavy line in there. So let's go for something like this. Little wavy line there. See how it just waves up to get over the teeth and then back down the side. Let's do a little tiny bit of outlining around the lips. Probably not going to need too much, but just bring that line up. Just a little tiny bit of outlining there. Fairly thin on the middle part of the lips. Let's go and add the bottom teeth in, the top teeth. These are the top teeth that are sticking out. Let's go and add those teeth in. So that bucket shape next. A little tiny flick off from the top down. There we go. Little tiny crease, maybe even a little one down the bottom as well, just to. There you go, a little tiny bit down the bottom, just so that we can separate those two teeth out just subtly. We'll finish off with going round the bottom lip. Again, a broken line, look, same as, well, similar to what we did at the top, where it got kind of thin around the middle part of the lip. Just break that line up, or make it as thin as possible. And then what we'll do is just add, we'll bring these bits in here, just curve those out a little bit. So it all looks attached. How's that looking for a mouth? That's not too bad. Next thing we've got to do, we're just got to make all of this, the nose and the mouth join each other. So we're going to put some little umbrella shapes on the end of the mouth, on the corner of the mouth, and then we're going to flick some lines down from the nose, okay? So a little umbrella shape is going to look like this. Just a little umbrella on the end of the mouth. It's a strong intersection, so make it a little bit thicker. Then we're going to flick some lines from the edge of the nose, and we're going to go to just outside where those umbrella shapes are, okay? So from there to just outside. That kind of angle. Yeah, there we go. Just to try and make it look like it's all attached a little bit. Let's add some extra little wrinkles. Just down here. Let's add some inner ear. There we go. Now I'm going to go down a pen size to a PC1M. A thinner pen. We're just going to add some little triangles to the, or some little shapes to the outside edge of the eyes, just to make it look like there's some real thick, strong eyeliner in there. So let's go with, what should we go with, triangles, or let's go with like was it Pinter-Chan style, like big eyelashes. Let's see what that looks like. So it's like a teardrop kind of shape. There we go, there's one side. There's the other. Right. We've got a few minutes left. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to add those little finishing flourishes. So like I said before, 3 stages of the artwork. 3 stages of the artwork are the colouring, done, outlining, just done, and then the finishing touches, the little flourishes. This is the kind of bit where you add your own little flair, your own style to it. Anything that's not looking quite right on your artwork, just mix it up a little bit and try a few things out. So these are the things that we're going to do on this. We're going to, first of all, we're going to work a little bit more in the hair, okay? So again, I know I've just zoomed out, but I'm going to zoom back in again. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some extra little lines, some extra shadows to the hair. Now, as we add these in, bear in mind that we're going to cut them out again, okay? So they might look a bit cumbersome, they might look a bit clunky. At the moment, we are going to cut them out again, okay? So with this darker colour, whatever the darker colour was that you used for the hair, let's just go in, and for starters, we'll just add extra lines to these bits. So following the curve round, see how we're just bringing those in. Same over here, look. Following the curve round. Also, what we're going to do there is just add some of these curves. So imagine like there's a round bit of hair just there. Add a little curve where you'd expect to see the shadow on here. Specifically where you've got other curves in there. So like that one is definitely a curve just there. So I'm going to put in a bit just there. And again, we're going to chop it out. Make it look a lot nicer later. For the time being, just chuck those shapes in. So let's go and throw a few of those in. See how I've just done a double one there. Let's put one up here. Let's have this one. I think there's going to be one here. There we go. Got a few bits in there. We can go as crazy as you want with that. Put in as many or as few as you like. Let's put in one just there as well. I feel like it just needs something in the middle of the hair there. That's good. So we'll come back to that. The next thing we're going to do is take that orange. Remember that orange that I accidentally used in the chin? We're going to put some highlights in the hair now as well. So because that shape, that curve that we did there, that's the shadow curve. The highlight curve is going to be a different way around. So up in the top, let's go and put some highlight curves in. Again, remembering that we're going to chop these out in a second. Can you see those? You just about see those, can't you? Let's just go and throw a few of those in. Again, don't think about it too much. Just chuck them in wherever, and we'll see how it looks later. You might want to take some out. You might want to put some more back in. That's the beauty of Posca. You can do that kind of stuff. Just keep on overlapping bits. So I am going to just tidy up some of the shadows as well. So for me, this shadow down the bottom here looks like it just needs to be coming in a little bit more. So I'm just going to bring that in to about there. Look. That feels a bit better. Might see a little bit of shadow over this side. Again, as I'm adding these shadows in, I'm going over the black line. Don't worry if it goes over the black line. As soon as it's dry, you can just quickly whip the black line in again. Let's put some bags under the eyes. So this witch, no offense to Bet, she's a little bit on the older side. So we're going to put some little wrinkles and stuff in. So let's go and put some bags under the eyes like that. Again, ones that we'll chop out a little bit later. Yeah, I think that's probably as good as we need it for the time being. Let's see what it looks like with a little line there and a line there. Just some extra little wrinkles in. Okay, let's not overdo it. That's good. That works for me. Going to add in a little tiny line down the bottom here, look. Little curve down there, so it just looks like that chin's kind of poking out a little bit further. Maybe flick in a few little lines on the lips to give the lips a little bit more shape. Let's try that out. Okay, top ones look terrible, but the bottom ones look nice. I'll take the top ones out later. Now let's get back in. So like I said, we're tidying up. All these lines across the top in the hair are now dry, so we can take that original red, that mid-tone, and we can just chop out all of these bits. So we're just going to go in and just take out loads of the edges to give us those nice sharp edges like that. Look. There we go. Just have a little bit of fun with it. Don't think too much about it. If it looks right and it's looking good, carry on doing it. If it's not looking right, just stop doing it. Do something different. That's usually my ethos when it comes to art. If it looks okay, carry on doing it. If it doesn't, just stop doing it. It's as easy as that. Let's just take a little bit more out of there. There we go. So you can see that hair's now starting to take on a lot more shape. Kind of like that. You can add some extra curves in there as well if you wanted to, extra little lines. Maybe use the right colour. There we go. Just throwing those lines in. Right, let's go and tidy up these lines in the face. Got 1 more minute left, so we are just about finished. There we go, look. See what a difference that makes. So we start off with quite a fat line. Taper it off, make it look a lot more subtle. Quickly around the black bit here that I missed out, that I coloured over with the orange when I added the bigger shadow in. Same just there. It's looking good. Right, let's finish off. Last little bit. Hey, Blue Monster. Yeah, no worries, mate. Last little bit. Let me zoom out a little bit. What I always like to do on the outside of the character. So obviously, I mean, you could put the dress in. You know, do whatever you want down the bottom here. You can add whatever you want. What I like to do is I like to take some of these colours that I've already used and just bring them outside. So, for example, let's go for some medium spots. And I like doing them in 3s as well. 2s and 3s. Get rid of that spot there, look. 1, 2, 3. Bring in some red ones. I'm going to do some smaller red ones, ruby red ones that are going to be closer. Let's take some orange ones. Bring the orange ones. They're going to be bigger. They're going to be further away. I feel like something was wet under my hand there. There we go. Bit of a mistake. Never mind. And you could, you know, the tapering in that we've done on these, on the hair and stuff like that, you could do those in these little bouncy bits. That would look a real nice finish. All right, last few seconds. What do we reckon? Is that a finish? Let's just make this a little bit thicker around the outside here. I'm going to try what that looks, see what that looks like. Yeah, that's better. Get that stronger makeup in. I think we are just about done. A few little black spots around. I like the black spots because they look like ink splatter. Or paint splatter, I should say, if I'm using Posca pens. A few little black spots. A few little freckles on our character. Yeah. Let's call it. There we go. 2 minutes over. Apologies for that. You can have that for free. Yeah, like I say, tag me in tag Studio Korp, tag Artgecko Sketch in any pictures or reproductions of this that you post online. Always love to see what you guys have been drawing. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that. If you get a chance, go and have a little listen to the podcast as well. That is still available. A little interview with me and the lovely people at Artgecko, Gemma and Natasha. So yeah, have a little listen to that as well. And yeah, we're nearly done now for Artist of the Month. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much for joining in, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.